Hello, everyone. I'm a former forensic officer, and over the years, I've collected many horror stories from police officers. On this channel, I introduce strange events, actually experienced by American police officers. Today's story is about a strange event that happened during a night patrol. According to the accounts, the police officers witnessed something they shouldn't have seen. When I heard this story, I felt chills down my spine. First, I want to express my gratitude to all of you. Thank you so much for always watching this channel. And I also want to thank my 2 grandchildren who helped in creating this story. Thanks to them, I was able to add some embellishments, while referring to my old diary to create a current narrative. Now, please enjoy this strange experience. This happened a few years ago during a night patrol. That night, officers John and his partner Mike were patrolling the city to ensure its safety as usual. The city was quiet, and only the car's headlights illuminated the dim streets. John and Mike thought it was just another ordinary night, but soon they realized it was different. John was an experienced police officer with over 30 years of service. His partner Mike was a rookie, still learning the ropes under John's guidance. John was calm and composed that night, keeping an eye on Mike as they patrolled the city. John was confident he could handle any situation, but this night was different. That night, John and Mike were patrolling a quiet residential area. Suddenly, an unusual report came through the radio. A resident had reported seeing a strange light in a nearby park. John and Mike confirmed the report and headed to the park immediately. When they arrived at the park, it was eerily silent, and there were no signs of people. However, they noticed a faint light at the far end of the park. John and Mike grabbed their flashlights and cautiously walked towards the light. The light gradually grew stronger, flickering as if beckoning them. Something's not right, John felt. Mike, proceed with caution. It might be something we're not supposed to see. With that, John heightened his vigilance. As they approached the source of the light, the mysterious nature of the light became clearer. It was an unusual presence, almost like a mannequin, completely still. John and Mike moved closer to the light source and confirmed the eerie presence. It looked like a child sitting on an old swing. However, as they got closer, the figure became indistinct, shimmering like a mirage. John momentarily doubted his own eyes. "Mike, do you see that?" John asked, and it seemed Mike was seeing the same thing. "Yeah, I see it. But what is it?" As they focused on the presence, the light suddenly vanished. The park was once again enveloped in darkness, and an eerie silence spread. John felt a cold sweat but tried to remain calm and professional. John reported the situation over the radio. "This is John. We confirmed an unidentified light in the park, but it has now disappeared. Should we consider it a non-issue?" However, the response from the other side was unexpected. "This is headquarters. That's a frequently reported phenomenon lately. It's said to be something we shouldn't see, but details are unknown. Continue to stay alert." John felt even more uneasy at that response, but tried to reassure his partner with a smile. "It's okay, Mike. It might have just been a trick of the light." As they continued their patrol that night, John and Mike encountered another strange phenomenon. This time, static began to play through the radio. It wasn't just interference but mixed with a low, whispering voice. "Stop here." Mike was startled and hit the brakes, causing the patrol car to stop abruptly. What was that? John checked the radio, but there was no sign of malfunction. "Stay calm, Mike. It might be some sort of prank. But let's check it out." John and Mike got out of the car and headed in the direction of the voice. In the darkness, they proceeded cautiously. They saw the familiar light again at the far end of the park. This time, a clear silhouette of a person appeared within the light. John gathered his courage and approached the scene. "Is anyone there?" he called out, but there was no response. The silhouette slowly faded away. "John, is this?" Mike asked in a trembling voice. "I don't know, but something is definitely happening here." John was convinced. They decided to continue their investigation to find the next clue. John and Mike got back into the patrol car and continued their vigilance. During their patrol, they encountered another strange event. This time, the car's engine suddenly stopped while driving through a residential area away from the park. John tried turning the ignition, but the engine didn't respond. Could this be another sign? John said anxiously to Mike. "Let's take a look outside." They got out of the car and examined the surroundings. They noticed a strange light coming from the window of a nearby house. The light felt as if it was calling to them. John and Mike approached the house cautiously. Peering through the window, they saw an elderly woman staring at something. Her eyes were vacant, as if she were looking into another world. "Ma'am, are you all right?" John called out through the window. But she didn't respond. When Mike knocked on the door, the woman suddenly disappeared. They were startled, but the door opened on its own as if inviting them inside. Inside the house, it was eerily quiet. The furniture was old, and dust had settled everywhere. John and Mike cautiously proceeded, searching for the source of the light. Suddenly, a low voice came from upstairs. "What are you doing here?" They looked up towards the voice and saw the elderly woman standing there. Her eyes were filled with deep sorrow, as if she wanted to convey something. "Ma'am, is there something we can help with?" John asked. She slowly descended the stairs. "Don't look at it." "You mustn't look at it," she said while pointing to an old box. John and Mike approached the box cautiously and opened it. Inside were old photographs and several letters. These seemed to hold clues about the house's past and the strange events occurring. "This might be the key to everything," John said, carefully reading the photographs and letters. The letters detailed a tragedy that had occurred in this house in the past. About 50 years ago, the family living there lost their home in a sudden fire, and one family member went missing. The family began acting strangely, as if possessed by something. "Could the missing family member be?" John murmured. "Maybe what the woman didn't want us to see was these letters." Using the information from the letters, John and Mike traced the family's whereabouts. They searched police records and found the incident report from that time. The report mentioned that the cause of the fire was unknown, and the missing person had never been found. "This is the key to everything, Mike," John said confidently. "Until we solve this case, they will remain trapped in this house." They returned to the house and continued their investigation. While searching thoroughly, they discovered a hidden door to the basement. The door was tightly closed, but they managed to open it together. Entering the basement, it felt like time had stopped. Old furniture and tools were scattered around, creating an eerie atmosphere. John and Mike carefully moved forward and reached a large box in the back. Opening the box, they found an old diary and some personal belongings. The diary was written by the missing family member, detailing how they had been trapped in the basement. "I've been here, always here," was written at the end of the diary. Suddenly, a cold wind blew from behind, causing them to freeze momentarily. Turning around, they saw the elderly woman standing there again. "Find him. Help him," she said quietly. And then, in the next moment, she disappeared. John and Mike took the diary, convinced it was the key to solving the house's mystery. They brought the diary to the police and initiated a reinvestigation of the case. Afterwards, the missing family member was discovered in the basement, and the case was finally resolved. The strange phenomena subsided, and the house regained its tranquility. Through this experience, John and Mike felt that by seeing what shouldn't be seen, they were able to uncover the truth. Thanks to John and Mike's efforts, the long-unsolved case was finally closed. It was revealed that the missing family member had been trapped in the basement, and their spirit had been confined to the house. With their discovery, the strange occurrences surrounding the house ceased, and peace was restored. "Now they can finally rest in peace," John said with a look of relief. Mike felt the same way, looking equally relieved. Through this case, John and Mike learned an important lesson. Sometimes, seeing what shouldn't be seen can help uncover the truth, and that truth might help bring peace to someone. As police officers, sometimes we have to face our fears. But if it means saving someone, we must have the courage to face it, John said thoughtfully. Through this story, I want to convey to everyone that no matter how strange or frightening an event may be, there is always some truth hidden behind it, and to uncover that truth, sometimes we need the courage to see what shouldn't be seen. Thank you all for always watching. Your support is the driving force behind this channel. We will continue to bring you strange events and ghost stories, so please stay tuned. Next time, we will bring you an even more surprising story. In the next episode, we'll talk about a mysterious phenomenon in an abandoned hospital. Don't miss it.